Well, we're going to learn more about the Community Violence Prevention Coalition and what they're doing in the community and how you can get involved. And joining me today, to my immediate left, Erin Osteen Burkholder, and she's Director of Prevention and Outreach at Crime Victim Services. So thanks for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's talk about this coalition. I mean, we hear about coalitions throughout town, but what do you guys focus on? What's your mission?
Right. So our purpose, the Lima Community Violence Prevention Coalition, I know it's a mouthful, but our purpose is really to bring different people together across our community, from nonprofit, mental health, from the schools, to really try to look at where are those intersections between the things that we are really strong with as a community, and then where are those opportunities that we have to kind of fill some gaps around the things that help us create safety in our community, and those things, again, that are kind of getting in the way of that safety.
Okay. So the focus is safety and nonviolence, I guess,
Yes,
prevention
yes,
of that. So all ages, or does a certain focus group that you have?
So we actually have 5 different work groups. So one group is working at youth violence, gun and gang violence, interpersonal violence, and so forth. So we're really trying to bring people from all ages, all varieties of backgrounds, to really look at where are those intersections for all of those different forms of violence, and what are the things that we can lift up to create safer communities for everybody.
Right, yeah. So, you know, you did sound like you have a great cross-section. So, I mean, when you hear one, like, I don't know, the schools speak about something, that someone else kind of like speak up and say, well, we can help with that. I mean, is it work out well that you guys all meet together and hear the stories of what's happening?
Yes, yes. So we meet, I think it's the second Wednesday of the odd months, or something crazy like that. But we have about 35 people that are coming together, and we're sharing those updates. Here's what I see is a need in our community, or here's what, you know, an event that's happening that we could use some support on. And so we're able to really, you know, collaborate and work together toward that common goal of creating more safety in the community.
Is there anything you can think of right off the top of your head that you've like been able to do, and like you've accomplished something, or at least moved in a direction that someone wanted?
Yes, actually, last year we were able to sponsor with the Center for Peace Building, or Peace and Reconciliation, a Swords into Plowshares, I think, event. And so they were able to turn guns that had been used in crimes into garden tools. Guns into garden tools, I think is what it was called. And so that grew out of our coalition and the members working at how do we, again, create some healing, create some sense of safety and camaraderie.
Because it all kind of works together, doesn't it?
It
I mean, you want to be safe, and you got to heal too through the process.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
So a unique, I think you're thinking out of the box kind of things too, because that was something very different that you brought to town.
Absolutely. You know, we don't want to reinvent the wheel all the time, right? There are some best practices that absolutely we want to lift up and move forward. But we also have an opportunity to kind of, you know, create a platform then for collaboration around new ideas and new opportunities.
I like when you said don't want to reinvent the wheel, because sometimes I assume at your coalition meetings that you hear about something and someone's like, well, we have a program and we're helping with that kind of thing. So you're not duplicating things.
Yes, and that was one of our kind of main purposes when we started this coalition 2-3 years ago, was that we see so many great people doing great work in the community, but we're often working in silos. So this coalition is also a way to kind of bring everybody together, to hear from each other so that we can support one another rather than, you know, dividing all of our resources.
Yeah. Is there one focus right now that you have, like, you know, the gun violence that we've been seeing, or you try not to focus just on one thing through a year?
We, I think that's something that we're kind of maybe working forward to in 2026 as a more, you know, a more focus on one of them. But this past year, the gun and gang violence group has been very active. Our interpersonal violence group has also been very active. They have an event coming up tomorrow that I would love to talk to you about.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So our interpersonal and sexual violence prevention work group in that coalition, they've been working at how to raise awareness of the rates of sexual violence amongst the community. And for Black survivors in particular, or for our African American community, we know about 1 in 6 experience sexual and interpersonal violence. So there's an increased risk and for that community. And so it's kind of a special outreach that we're trying to lift up. So tomorrow night, we're hosting an event called Brave and Bright, Voices of Holiday Healing at Vibe Coffee House from 6 to 8. And we're going to be focusing on what does that healing look like from not just a physical, but an emotional, kind of spiritual perspective as well. So Courtney Owens will be the featured poet. So she'll be sharing some poetry, focusing on that healing. We'll have a little mini workshop and then an open mic so community members can share as well.
Right, yeah. That sounds like a really neat event. And it's in a space where people can feel safe, and it's different too. It's not like, you know, hospital situations or something like that. It's just, so is that also part of the goal?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. The community is invited. We'll have vendors there. Mary Kay will be there. Some poets, or pottery, excuse me. All kinds of different vendors to kind of share. Coffee, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So
and just a great time to kind of support each other and share in that healing space. We know the holidays can be a little tricky.
right,
so.
yeah, exactly. All right, Brave and Bright, Voices of the Holiday Healing. That is tomorrow at Vibe Coffee House.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks very much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, don't go away. We'll take a look at the weather forecast next.